This is BHAMBRA here for PSB Sports. We're in London here today, and I'm very happy to say I'm joined now by the WBO heavyweight champion of the world, Joseph Parker. Joseph, good to see you again.
Good to see you again, brother.
How's things?
Things are good. Firstly, it's great to be here in the UK. What a shock when I walked out of the airport, pretty cold.
Yeah.
And then secondly, just getting the deal done and signed. And once now it's done, I'm excited. I'm excited for March 31. I'm excited to meet Joshua tomorrow. I've never met the guy.
Yeah.
And meet Eddie, and then excited to get back to camp, train hard, and come here fully focused, prepared and ready for March 31.
Absolutely, Joseph. You know, I mean, this fight with you and Joshua, this has been spoken about for a long time now. So, how happy are you, being a world heavyweight champion, to know that you're now in a unification fight?
I think it's great that we both wanted to fight each other back then, right. but now it's a lot more important because we both have. He has 2 titles and I have one of the major ones. So I think there's a lot on the line now. There's our undefeated record, and there's also the belts, and then. What can I say? It's an exciting time to be a heavyweight.
Absolutely, and you know, one thing I want to ask you as well, when the whole sort of negotiation process was going on, it was quite a public negotiation, to be fair. I think you know, everyone sort of knew that negotiations were taking place for a fight between yourselves. So
why?
Say again?
Why was it public? Or?
No, I'm saying what was going through sort of your mind when the negotiations were going on?
So we sort of, I don't know, we sort of did an offer that we wanted to fight, and then they came back with a very low offer that our team wasn't happy with, and then it sort of stopped there until we went to social media and until we made it a bit more public. Negotiations started again, and there was a bit more interest from their side. But in the beginning, they weren't really interested in us and fighting us.
Yeah, I know. Obviously, one tweet you sent out to Anthony Joshua was hashtag never been dropped. And obviously there's a rematch clause if your chin needs it, basically. So what was your thoughts on sending that?
So that's not really how I roll, and it's not really my style.
Yeah.
So it wasn't fully my tweet. You know, there's other people involved in making that tweet happen.
Oh.
So, but in order for us to lock the fight in and get it, we had to get out of our comfort zone and try new things to try and get this fight. Now that's locked in, I think we want to go back to being who we are and what we actually do, and not really, that's not how we sort of roll usually. But we had to do it in order to lock in the fight.
And obviously, you know, in terms of, I know David Higgins has been here for about a week now, I think. Now it's all been locked in, as you say. What are your sort of plans after training camp? Have you got sparring in place? And obviously, I know you're going to be in Vegas going up those long stairs again. So
to be honest, I just came off a holiday, so my mind's just, now that the fight's locked in, I'm focused on Joshua and training. I leave all of that to my coach Haye-Bellew. He's going to discuss with me sparring partners when we get back to Vegas, and training camp will be about 8 to 9 weeks there, and then we'll be back here for 2 weeks before the fight. So I'm looking forward to putting in work, and I haven't trained really hard lately, but I'm looking forward to putting in the work, and that'll help me be more focused for March 31.
And also, what do you make of Anthony Joshua as a fighter as well?
I respect him as a fighter. I respect what he's done. He's got a 20-0 record and 20 knockouts, so obviously he's done something right. He has a great team around him who he sells out stadiums, and he's always involved in big events. You know, and so I respect him as a fighter and as a champion. But the reason why I'm here is because I believe in myself and what I can do, and I believe I can beat him.
In terms of, I don't want to obviously talk too much about tactics because that's going to be between yourself and your trainer. But I mean, you know, in terms of your stamina, you've always been able to go the rounds. You've always done 12 rounds and stuff like that. And then there's been talk on social media, obviously by your team as well, that Joshua's stamina isn't as good in the later rounds. His tank will empty. What do you make of those sort of comments about stamina?
I think from the fights that we've seen of him, when the guys go sort of the second half of the fight, he's sort of tired of it. But I'm sure his team are working on it now. I'm sure they're working on getting him a lot fitter as well. I know that I can fight 12 rounds and I'm fit for 12 rounds, so I think there's a lot that both teams need to work on leading up to this fight.
I saw an interview with Sky that you did when you landed. You said that we're going to go in there. You're a come forward fighter. You always look for a knockout. AJ always looks for a knockout. So do you believe that this fight will be a shootout? Who hits who first?
It'll be a shootout, but also it'll be a smart fight. I'm sure that he'll come up with a plan. If I'm sort of going forward and sort of getting on top of him, I'm sure he has a plan B. I have a plan B. So we're both fighters that like to come forward and throw big bombs, but I think if we have to adjust our fight. So when it's fight time, then we all adjust it.
And as well, obviously, I've got to ask. We were with you in Manchester for the Hughie Fury fight. How do you look back on the Hughie Fury fight and the experience? Because we didn't actually get to interview you after.
It was a good experience in terms of establishing ourselves here in the UK first, fighting someone like Hughie's undefeated, and there was a lot to learn from that fight. There's still a lot to work on in terms of cutting off the ring and mixing it up, but just shows that my style isn't really suited to fighters that run away. And if I look at my career, all the fighters that I fought that ran away didn't really give me a good didn't make me look that good in the ring. I like fighters that come forward and fighters that put in the pressure.
And obviously as well, afterwards the WBO put in a review to a governing body, but obviously the WBO found that you were victorious in every round. So how happy were you to sort of hear that as well?
I was very happy. They thought they won, we thought that we won, and just for the WBO and the judges to say that we won made us real happy. I know it was a really close contest, and I know it could have gone either way, but for us to get the victory was a blessing.
What would it mean to you, Joseph, to become the unified heavyweight champion of the world?
Another sort of goal and dream ticked off, and I'm doing it for myself, my family. I'm doing it for New Zealand and Samoa.
Also, I've got to ask you about it as well. Deontay Wilder is the other champion. He's a WBC champion. Aspiration. I know it's a big fight first with Joshua, but you must have aspirations should you come through this fight to become undisputed heavyweight champion.
Most definitely. The way I see it now, it's myself and Joshua, the winner, and the winner of Wilder and Ortiz should get together ASAP, and to be the undisputed champion of the world is. I think that should happen.
Absolutely, that'd be great for the fans to see as well. First undisputed heavyweight champion in a long time, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It'll be the first in a long time, and I guess the world needs to see who the best heavyweight is.
Tyson Fury as well. He's potentially coming back. I know you guys are friends as well, because he was in and around the setup for the Hughie Fury fight. So how happy are you to see Tyson come back?
Oh, it's going to be, it's like when you left the division, it's like a character lift. He brings a lot of character into the division. He says a lot of things that are good and bad and funny and not funny. So it's going to be very good to see him back. I'm excited to see him back. And there's a potential to even fight him in the future. And you fight those who you respect, and you fight those who you think will be a good challenge for yourself to sort of lift your game and make you better.
And as well, in terms of this past sort of year, I would say you've been, in fact, to be fair, past few years of your career, you've been extremely busy. You've pretty much had back-to-back fights. Even when you fought for the title, that was like 6 weeks after Takam. So you're always extremely active. So do you think that will help you this fight, your activity over the past few years at all?
I think activity and keeping busy helps you always. It helps you ring generalship. It helps you gain more experience. It helps you with the different styles that you fight. So I think keeping busy will help me. And I think it's the same as Joshua. He's been busy as well. So I think the busyness will help us bring out the best in us in this fight.
There's also a massive rematch with David Haye versus Tony Bellew. Will you have one eye on that as well, maybe? The David Haye-Bellew rematch?
Yeah, they're both fighters I like to fight as well. But they're both fighters that I respect, and both fighters that I look up to. So I'm looking forward to actually seeing them and how that one turns out.
How do you see that fight going?
I see it. I think if Haye's not injured, and I think if he's fully there 100%, I think he'll come out on top. But you can never underestimate value. And
can you give us your prediction to the camera? What will happen on March 31st when you step in with AJ?
March 31st, there'll be a lot of fireworks. Predictions? Oh, I don't know. There'll be a knockout. Either me or him. That's the prediction.
Honestly, as always, Joseph Parker, thank you very much for your time today. Wish you all the best in training camp.